People ask why I'm so passionate about Honda. It all started 30 years ago when my mom trusted this exact 1987 Honda Accord to safely transport our family. Trust takes many years to earn, and through Bianchi Honda, I'm sharing my passion for Hondas with our community.
Bianchi Honda, trusted from the very beginning.
And still on the road today.
Welcome back. It's the moment you've all been waiting for. He is the head coach of the Gannon Golden Knights. He is Brad Rzyczycki. Coach, how was practice?
Good. I'm not out of breath like I was after the game on Saturday getting up to the press box. But, yeah, running over here. We just ended at 5:30, so yeah, it's a pretty quick trip over here.
Yeah, much less in terms of steps that you have to go up to get over here. So glad you joined us. I guess I got to start with this. I was supposed to tell you hi from the Solon Comet. You know who that is?
Yeah, this is Smiley. Again, they were out there today, and Craig Smiley didn't show up. He had someone else come down and do interviews on the field.
So he could have told you.
I don't know what the cushy job he has over there. I wish he'd come in because we are high school rivals from a long time ago. But I have not seen Craig just through text messages through the last couple of weeks. But it'd be nice to see him. There
you go. Maybe you'll see him Saturday. Let's talk about your game this past Saturday, though. It was a road trip. It was a big victory against Southern Connecticut State, 55-22. We talked after the game, but you've been able to see some film by now. What are your thoughts past that?
Yeah, you go back and look at the previous 5 years I've been a head coach. We played about as mistake-free football as we ever have in our very first game of the season, which is what you're looking to do is not try to beat yourself. We had 3 penalties called. One was a pass interference I thought was great coverage, and they could have called it or they couldn't. They declined it. They still scored a touchdown. The 2 late hit personal fouls, they were really questionable. We didn't have a procedure penalty. We didn't jump off sides. We were extremely disciplined from that standpoint. So I was really happy with the guys. We executed. There weren't a ton of mental mistakes. There were enough that we can get back on film and correct them. But there wasn't a ton, and we didn't do anything to beat ourselves on Saturday. I think that reflected in the score when it was all said and done. We actually made some plays. We talked a lot about sacks and interceptions, how they changed the course of a game. And, we threw one that was a great learning lesson for Zach, but we picked off 2 and both converted it into 2 touchdowns for us. One they scored, and the other one by Jeremy Page got us down to like the 2-yard line or somewhere in there. So I was extremely happy. It's a matter of consistency now and not getting content and explaining to the guys that this is kind of how this motor has to run from here on out.
Obviously 55-22, a lot went right, but there was still some timely play that you needed, especially at the end of the first half. You went down, you scored in 50 seconds, and I thought you said something after the game that I wanted to get back to. You've worked on play clock management or time management down the stretch. Is that right?
Yeah. 2 years ago, I still remember at Kutztown, we were up a lot at halftime, and I still remember kind of waiting to call my timeout. So, I had to make sure that I was going through, in my mind, the clock and how many timeouts. We had 2 at that point in time. I wanted to save one for the field goal because I went for that extra point, the 2-point conversion we didn't get after that first touchdown. I wanted those points back. So I wanted at least to get in range for Karch to be able to knock down a field goal. So we flinged it out to Marcus, got a 1-yard gain, kept the ball in play. I know the chains wouldn't move, so the clock would keep on going. I had to use one there. We got him back over and talked about the efficiency of now we've got to go spike balls when we make plays here, no matter if it's a first down, depending on what the situation, if it's a 3rd down or 4th down situation. So we did it. We got, I think, a 15 or 20-yard play. The next play, we went up and spiked it, and then we had 3 shots to get in the end zone. It took us all 3 to get there before we kicked it, and we scored with 7 seconds left. That's, Alex, something we couldn't do last year. We just weren't experienced enough. The moment just got too big for us. Our kids calmly in this situation, no one panicked in that situation. They went out and executed. Everyone ran the right routes. The protection was great. I couldn't say enough about the offensive line, how they kept Zach clean. And we threw the ball where it needed to be. And we made some plays at receiver. We did a great job of stretching the field and hustling and playing physical on the outside too. So that was something we couldn't do that we needed to do. And I thought to respond after they cut it down to 12 to put us back up by 3 scores before halftime, really makes a difference coming out in the second half.
Your linebackers were everywhere.
Yeah, they're pretty. I think it helps with Jeremy Page and Ant Howard playing last year. James Sims had to kick the rust off. He hadn't played in 2 years, but they need to be active in what we do defensively because one of them basically has to replace a defensive lineman on every snap. So those guys did a great job just being active.
Shippensburg this weekend, noon. Last year it was the second game as well, and you had to come from behind to win this one, which how many games last year did you not start out with the lead? Gannon was such a fast-starting team last season, I thought.
Yeah, I think there were actually quite a few, but I don't remember those things. For some reason, I remember the oddest things. But Shippensburg presents its own challenge. We were really fortunate to win that game last year because we'll revisit, schematically what they did, both offensively and defensively, matching up what we did. And we didn't play well offensively last year. We were extremely lucky to get out of that one, scoring 24 points last year and win a ball game. The defense played a lot better last year than the offense did, but we didn't. You talk about a game of lack of execution. We had, I think, 7 procedure penalties. We weren't playing to their physical abilities that Shippensburg presents to us because they are a violent physical football team, and we didn't match it. And so that was the ultimate fall, which stands for find a way, and we found a way to win the game last year. But after watching the film and revisiting that one, we were very lucky. But we found a way in the end to get out of there last year. That's not going to be the same way this year. And that team's going to come in. They ran through AIC pretty good. I mean, they beat them 41-7 or something like that, but it really wasn't even a contest at any point in time in the game. So, I usually say that you find out a lot about your team in the first game, but I don't know that either team did. I don't know if Shippensburg or Gannon did because I think we're just better than the teams we played to this point. So you can count this again as the first game of 2 really good football teams, in my opinion.
The script last year kind of went for Ship. Passed the ball. They threw 46 passes in that game, completed 29 of them. They also got pretty good effort out of the halfback. And then on Gannon's side of things, it was really the same thing. You had back go for 200, I think. You ran the ball pretty well, and you had Mark Jones go for 200 last week, so that'll have to continue this week. And I don't think your offensive line will have any problems with you telling them we're going to run the ball.
Yeah, when I took this program over 5 years ago, the first questions I got were, what were you doing? And I'm a defensive coordinator at heart. You got to run the football and play great defense. That's the principle of what we're based off of. And we did it last week. And normally the teams that win the Pennsylvania State Athletic Conference are in the top 5 in rushing. And you have to be able to do it. The weather changing, our field gets wind. So you're going to face the wind at some point in time in the game where it's going to be difficult to throw it. But back to Shippensburg, that's part of their MO. I mean, they throw some short passes that's an extension of the run game. So it may look like 42 passes, but 6 of them may have been flare passes. 3 of them may have been drive routes to someone coming across the middle of the field that are 2-yard balls. So they extend their run game by just getting the ball in space to their athletes. So I think it's kind of misleading that you don't see them whipping the ball downfield. Now, if I watched us on film last week, I would expect them to stretch the field. We had some young kids out there that we gave up some deep coverage stuff that we've really worked on this week. So that's just part of their deal. They do a really good job. We watch a lot of crossover film with Shippensburg, so we're extremely familiar with them because of what they do offensively. It's one-back stuff. It correlates the same blocking schemes and some of the different things we do. So if they're playing a team, we try to get that film back for us. So we've seen quite a bit of them.
I did notice against AIU, they 41-7. They threw the ball a lot again, and it was raining the entire game. So, I mean, to me, that says that is what they like to do. They like to throw the ball if they're doing it even through the rain.
Yeah, that definitely. I mean, again, it was an extension of the run game, but AIC also was in a bare front a lot of time and bringing a ton of pressure where they weren't going to let them run the ball for the most part, and Shippensburg did a great job of taking what was given to them. And their whole premise of getting their athletes out on space is what they did, and that, they had a lot of success with it. So I think they're a lot like us, where they're going to take what you're giving them, numbers in the box, numbers in the secondary, those type of things. They're up tempo. I mean, they're really, really fast. They're predicated on first down. If they have a lot of success on first down, you're in trouble because it makes second and shorts or continuing the first downs and keep continuing their tempo part of it. But yeah, they're extremely efficient. They did throw the ball quite a bit last week.
It'll be fun to see. Noon on Saturday. It is Shippensburg, but 1 week in the books, a 55-22 win to start the season against Southern Connecticut. Again, I thought it was a good effort. I was lucky enough to be there. Thanks for taking me along. One thing I noticed, I thought that their D-line had pretty active hands at the line of scrimmage. They didn't they get their hands on the ball when Zach Phillips was
Yeah, a couple times. We have to find passing lanes, or we've got to do a better job of getting their hands down by just a particular block that might be on the edge. But there was a critical third down. We were trying to get the ball out in a three-step concept. So it's something that we've talked about. Some of that stuff is blind luck, but some of it is we've got to do a better job. With Liam Nodler being 6'6", we never had to worry about it. Zach is a tall kid. He's 6'2". Some of that, most of that's not his fault though. He's trying to put the ball in a particular place. We got to do a better job of blocking, getting someone's hands down with our offensive linemen.
Seemed workmanlike. I mean, they went in, they did business, they got back on the bus, and they went home. It wasn't like we just won the Super Bowl. It wasn't any more than any other win will be this season. So.
Well, I remember I told you about going on the road. It was a big deal for me. We took so many new faces and some young kids. you know, it's easy to teach football through the game of, you know, you're going to get stuck in goal line situations or high intense situations, but the little things about going on the road, being respectful to the servers, taking your headphones off, leaving your cell phones on the bus, taking your backpack off, communicating with people, all those things are extremely important to me, and they're little things. That's why I like to get on the road, and I thought our young kids handled the situation extremely well for being 17, 18 years old. Our older guys did a good job of bringing them along, but we brought more than we ever brought before that are very youthful with this program. So I thought that was great, the way the kids acted, the way they said thank you, and the meals and all that stuff is really, really important to me, and the kids did a great job with it. They came out in the beginning of the game. You never know what you get with your kids. My kids, I'm going, man, are they flat? What's going on with them? They were businesslike. They went out, it's 20-0 with 6 minutes to go in the first quarter, and I'm going, okay, these guys were ready. It's not like they have to be a rah-rah group. They're just focused and ready to go. So I was extremely proud. You don't know these situations or how they're going to react until you put them in them. So I expect kind of the same workman, lunch pail type of kids that I have right now converting over into this Saturday.
Good news is Saturday they get to wake up in their own beds. So Shippensburg, noon. He is the head coach, Brad Rzyczycki. Coach, I very much appreciate it.
Thank you, Alex.
All right.